Hey guys, Charlie here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be ranking the albums of one of my favorite hard rock bands of all time, Nickelback. So to give a bit of a background on them, Nickelback, they formed in Hanna, which is a little town in Alberta, Canada, back in the 90s, and have been putting out albums ever since. And so yeah, we've got 9 studio albums to talk about here. I'm going to be ranking them from my least favorite to my favorite. And before we get started, just a little disclaimer. We've got 2 camps here. We've got camps who are people like me who love and adore Nickelback, who absolutely love them and are overjoyed that I am doing this ranking video. And then we've got the people who absolutely hate Nickelback and are just here to trash them and trash their fans in the comments and will stop at nothing to do all that kind of thing. And so, so just to address the people who fall into the second category, look, it's okay if you don't like Nickelback. That's fine. Music is subjective, like they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. But look, if you're a Nickelback non-fan, stop watching the video now. That's it. Just go and watch something else. This is for the Nickelback fans to have some fun and talk about the albums. And maybe you're someone who's never really listened to much Nickelback and is just kind of curious to learn more about these albums and what I think of them. Look, that's totally cool as well. So yeah, this is Nickelback fans and Nickelback people and people who are interested in the band only. If you're not interested in the band or the content of this video, and then just don't watch it. Go and watch something else. So yeah, anyway, that's my little mini rant, we'll call it, over for now. So we're talking 9 studio albums. So what I'm going to do, of course this is a ranking, I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. I'll give you some thoughts, list some songs I like. With this catalog, it's a bit different from the Foo Fighters album ranking that I did a couple of weeks ago, I think. It's so with Foo Fighters, they have a really great catalog from start to finish. And all the albums are really good. This catalog is kind of varied. There's some stuff that's really spectacular and brilliant, and then there's some stuff that I'm okay with and is kind of okay, decent, not that great, whatever. So coming in at number 9, just my opinion. I know this album has its fans, and that there are people out there who love this album, and that's cool. Like I said, music is subjective. I don't have it on physical copy. I only have 4 of them here with me, which I'll show you later on. I'll probably need to get a couple more, but this one I probably won't buy because I don't really care for the album that much. I'm going all the way back to 1996 for their debut album, Curb. It's kind of a funny story. So when I was first getting into I kind of had this brief period in grade 7 where I was just listening to Nickelback songs and really loving them after learning a bit about them on Watch Mojo and thinking, why do people hate this band? And so then later on I thought, okay, let's actually get into Nickelback and let's listen to them from start to finish. And I found this, and I started with this album, and I found it just incredibly boring. It's not the band's or the album's fault. It's them kind of trying to figure out where they go. So it's 1996, post-grunge, which is the thing that these guys are really best at doing, is kind of just starting new metals, just starting the quote-unquote grunge era, like with Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Alice in Chains and all those, that kind of renaissance for that genre. That's kind of faded away a little bit. New metal's just starting. It's, the 90s is a pretty cool decade for music, but I'll stop digressing and let's talk about this album. So, it's kind of a dark and grungy album, so they're essentially making a grunge album, but I find it's just kind of forgettable, generic stuff. I'm just not a big fan of it. There's some decent songs on it. Little Friend, the first song is okay. Title track's decent. Where's a pretty good song. That's I'd say is my favorite song on the album. Falls Back On's kind of a fast one. Left is pretty good. It's kind of got a kind of dark, grungy riff. Yeah, the rest of it I don't really care for that much. So again, I know it has its fans. That's cool. I don't hate it. It's not terrible, but I don't know. I've just never really been a big fan of it, and I think most of the Nickelback fans who started today kind of got on board with them when they like became really big in like the mid 2000s. I think most of the fans who are like me would rank Curb as their least favorite. So yep, that's my number 9 out of the way. Right, number 8. We're gonna go with The State from 1999 or 1998. I don't know. I mean, release dates are kind of mixed up, but I mean 1999 is when I think it came out, so I'll just go with that. So The State's the album. It's their second album. You know, a bit better than Curb. There's some decent stuff on here. I mean, obviously it's still really they're still in kind of like that dark and grungy period. You know, haven't really found their sound yet. I think they found their sound more so on the next couple of albums than this, and then obviously after that, that's when they really boomed and stuff, or boomed, whatever. I mean, but yeah, you know, I mean, there's some decent songs. Breathe, Leader of Men was the single. That's okay. Digging This, pretty good. Deep's actually a really cool song. I like that quite a bit. You know, Not Leaving Yet. It's an okay. It's again just, you know, there's some good stuff on here. Like, I think this album. There's probably snippets. Like, if you listen to it closely, you can find snippets of the true greatness that was to come. But the best was still yet to come. So again, just kind of an okay album. Right, number 7. I know this is going to upset a lot of people, but I just, you know, it's kind of number 7 is Silver Side Up from 2001. So my problem with this album is, you know, like I do like it a bit. It's not not an unlikable album, but I do think it's fairly overrated. Like, so I think this is where they are really starting to find their sound, like with the wordy choruses and stuff. But they were kind of slow to take it off. Like this album, while there's definitely remnants of the true greatness that was to come on here, you can still hear that they haven't quite things aren't clicking at this point. Yeah, there's still a lot of moments on this album that are dark and grungy like the previous two. I mean, like, I think the problem is, like, there are 3 really great songs that I really like on here, which are the first 3 songs, actually. Never Again, How You Remind Me, obviously. I know a lot of people never need to hear it again, but, you know, it's awesome. And Woke Up This Morning. Those 3 songs, especially the first 2, all really great, fantastic. And a lot of the rest of it, I don't really care for all that much. It's got a redo of Just 4 off of Curb. The last song, Good Times Gone, is pretty good. Where Do I Hide? That's actually a really cool song as well. So, I mean, but, you know, a lot of the rest of it's kind of just a bit generic sounding like the first 2 albums. But, you know, like, it's not terrible by any means. It is a good album. They are really figuring things out. But, you know, I said it before about the previous one. The best was still yet to come at this point. So that's why I've ranked it in at number 7. And, I mean, I know it's going to upset a lot of people because, like, it is a pretty beloved album in their catalog, obviously, because of How You Remind Me and Never Again, which are fantastic songs, but those are elevated over the rest of it by quite a lot. So, yeah, that's my number 7. Right. Number 6, we're going to go with The Long Road from 2003. So, okay, so Nickelback's first 4 albums are my bottom 4. So, yeah, like, so with the first 4 albums, this is when they're really figuring out their sound. Like, I think first 2 albums haven't figured things out yet. They're getting it together with Silver Side Up, getting it together more with this album, but I think the albums after that become the Nickelback album. So, Long Road, I'd say it's definitely better, a step up from Silver Side Up. Rhyme not intended, but it's just more consistent overall. Flat on the Floor, the opening song's really like fast, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, Someday is the massive hit. That's my favorite song on the album. Feeling Way Too Damn Good. Because of You is a great song. It's got a pretty heavy riff, kind of groovy, which is really cool. Figure You Out's good. The last song, See You at the Show, is good as well. So yeah, I mean, pretty good album. Long Road, number 6. Right. Let's just get this one up. I know I haven't much higher than a lot of other people do. I know a lot of people do rank this album far down the list, but I've always really liked No Fixed Address from 2014 quite a bit. I mean, I think with this album, obviously it's really poppy and like there's not a lot of electric guitar on it. It's not super hard rocking like a lot of the other ones, but it's more an easy listening album, which I mean Nickelback are a pretty easy listening band, but this album, it's a little on the lightweight side, but I always like it, it's full. I think the songs are really memorable, Okay, so the first two songs, Million Miles an Hour and Edge of Revolution, are obviously the really cool, heavy songs, both got really great riffs, great choruses, fantastic songs. But man, a lot of the rest of it's quite fun. She Keeps Me Up. What Are You Waiting For is really cool. Make Me Believe Again. Those two are both really poppy songs. Satellite's a really nice ballad. Hammer's Coming Down is good. The only kind of weak song in this album, in my opinion, is Miss You, which is kind of a sappy ballad. Yeah, could have done without that. But, I mean, Got Me Running Rounds. Yeah, okay, the bit in that song when Flo Rida comes on and raps a verse is terrible, but that's actually quite fun. It's kind of an upbeat, funky song. So that's good. And the last song, Sister Sin, is actually one of my favorite Nickelback songs of all time. Really cool, kind of western-y type song, which is really lovely. So yeah, really good. 3 of my favorite Nickelback songs would be the first 2 songs, Million Miles an Hour and Edge of a Revolution, and the last song, Sister Sin. Those 3 songs, amazing Nickelback classics, and most of the rest of it is really cool too. So yeah, I dig this album, So yeah, No Fixed Address, coming in at number 5. Right, so none of those albums I own. Now we are getting into the ones that I do own, so I'll just close that internet page down. Right, number 4. And to me, this is the 4 albums that I own. This is the cream of the Nickelback crop, in my opinion. Like I was saying, in this catalog, there's some really great stuff, and then there's some stuff that's kind of okay. I spent a fair bit of time on the ones that kind of okay at the bottom, but I mean, these albums here, you can't beat them. So, right, number 4, we're going to go with Here and Now from 2011. Got the CD right here. There's a cool photo of the guys on the back. I mean, when I watched a couple of other Nickelback album ranking videos that I've seen on YouTube, I feel like I have this album a lot higher than a lot of other people would. Coming in at number 4, I really, really like this album a lot. Did actually consider moving it up to number 3 at one time, but got to come in at number 4. But still a great, great album. Just really it's kind of like a really fun, hard rocking album. A lot of really cool riffs and a lot of great ballads and mellow songs as well. This Means War, Bottoms Up is a lot of fun. When We Stand Together, obviously that's the big hit from this album. Midnight Queen is amazing. Gotta Get Me Some is cool. Got some really cool, kind of groovy, heavy riffs from Brian and Chad in that song. Lullaby, one of my favorite Nickelback songs of all time, and one of my favorite ballads ever by anybody. That song is just beautiful. Kiss It Goodbye is amazing. That would be another. That's a top 10 Nickelback song for me. Really cool song about reality TV. Just got a really great chorus, great riff in it. It's just amazing. Holding On to Heaven, a fantastic chorus on that song. Don't Ever Let It End. The last song is great as well. So yeah, Here and Now, really good album. Number 4. Right, number 3, we're gonna go with their most recent album, Feed the Machine, from 2017. That rhyme was not intended, but yep. I really liked it. I really love this album. This has got some fantastic songs. About a month ago, I did a list of top 10 late career gems in by bands you love, and I included this one on there as well. Just some really awesome killer songs. I mean, the title track is a great album opener, really good, really awesome, chugging, heavy rock song. Coin for the Ferryman is possibly my favorite Nickelback song of all time. I mean, it's just so amazing. Like, it's got this cool, like, little opening, and then it just breaks in. Like, one of the greatest guitar riffs of all time is in that song. Just killer chorus, killer vocals from Chad Kroger. Everything about that song is just mesmerizing. To me, Song on Fire is a great ballad. Must Be Nice is another kind of fun song with fun, heavy rocker. After the Rain. Home is a good moody one. The Betrayal Act 3 is another heavy song. Man, it's kind of funny, you listen to No Fixed Address, and, like, it's really poppy and it's heavy on, like, the keyboards and stuff. I mean, this is a pretty heavy rocking album with a lot of great stuff. Every Time We're Together is amazing as well. That's a really nice kind of Photograph Part 2 song. I've actually had this album up at number 2 before, but, just for now, it has to be at number 3. I think out of these top 2, I think this album has like, 2 or 3 more really fantastic songs, but the next album I'm going to talk about, coming in at number 2, Dark Horse from 2008. Sorry about the reflections there. I think this album is more consistent overall. It's a cool band picture on the back. Obviously, I mean, there's so many classics on this album. Something in Your Mouth is a great album opener. It's kind of sexist as it is. It's kind. I mean, this album, it's kind of a really It's such a fun album. This album, Feed the Machine, I'd say it's kind of like their more kind of serious, dark album a lot of the time, but this is just such a fun album, an enjoyable album to listen to, and that's the reason I really love Nickelback, is, they're kind of the band that you listen to and it just makes you happy, Something in Your Mouth, just great opener. Burn It to the Ground, I mean, one of the great party songs of all time, just so awesome, so heavy. I mean, obviously that's like the album that's their Grammy award-winning song. I don't remember if it was won or nominated, but anyways, just brilliant. Gotta Be Somebody again. One of the greatest ballads of all time. Next Go Round is an awesome, almost like speed metal-y song. Just to Get High, SEX is a really fun, underrated song. As silly as it is, it's just so enjoyable. If Today Was Your Last Day is one of my favorite Nickelback songs of all time. And it closes off with This Afternoon. So, yeah, Dark Horse, amazing album. Coming in at number 2. So, I mean, those last 3 I've talked about, they could switch, some of them could switch places. I mean, like, these 2 could switch for the number 3 or 4 position, and these 2 could switch for the number 2 or 3 position. Well, I mean, I think this one's a pretty good number 2. I'm pretty happy with the order of these. Like, I will say before I get to my number 1, this was actually a pretty easy ranking video to put together. Like, I mean, I guess because, like, there's kind of more variation in the quality, I can put things in order a lot more, and I've got pretty strong opinions on all these albums. So yeah, there's only one left, and we all know what it is. I mean, number 1 has got, and it's a cliche. I know, almost every Nickelback fan is going to pick this as their favorite album. Maybe some would definitely pick Dark Horse, but for me, it's got to be All the Right Reasons from 2005. This album is there's just too many classics on this album. It's just so great from start to finish. And if you get the 15th anniversary expanded edition, you get this cool live performance. which is great. But man, like, this is a perfect album. There's nothing weak on this album. You know, Follow You Home, just great album opener. Just got such a cool, heavy riff. Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. I'd say even if Photograph wasn't on here, it'd still be number one. I mean, you know, Photograph is kind of down my list of favorite songs off of this album. You know, Animals, Saving Me, Far Away, which is a great ballad on here. Next Contestant's really cool. Got a really nice, edgy opening riff. Side of a Bullet, which is like their tribute song to Dimebag Darrell, which actually has a guitar solo that they salvaged in there. If Everyone Cared, Someone That You're With, like, that's one of the songs that's right up there as one of my favorites. It's either that song or Coin for the Ferryman off of Feed the Machine. So, Someone That You're With, just such a great song, just kind of speedy and honestly just really good. It's got great heavy riffs throughout it, great vocals, great chorus, just amazing song. And of course it closes out with Rockstar, which is just one of the awesome hits of all time. So yeah, all the right reasons. My favorite Nickelback album, one of my favorite hard rock albums of all time, easily in the top 2. There's the fan picture there. So there you have it. Nickelback Studio albums ranked from worst to best. Let's recap. Number 1, All the Right Reasons. Number 2, Dark Horse. Number 3, Feed the Machine. Number 4, Here and Now. 5, No Fixed Address. Number 6, The Long Road. Number 7, Silver Side Up. Number 8, The State. And number 9, Curb. So, yep. Please list your ranking as you like it in the comments. Remember, it's just my opinion. No, we all hear these albums differently. So, yeah, I mean, you know, rank the albums as you like them in the comments. If you don't like Nickelback and you've stuck around for the video anyway, then don't comment. But hey, and if you're Nickelback curious and you want to know where to start, well, I would start with these 2 albums. I mean, these 2 albums have got the most popular songs, and they're most people's 2 favorite Nickelback albums. They're my 2 favorites. So, yep. Thank you all for watching. See you later.